David, now that we know more about the UFO UAP revelations of the last month, are you ready to say that the UFOs aren't aliens from another planet? Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I don't know how many times I have to say this. I've been asked this so many times. When we talk about an unidentified flying object or a UAP, we aren't implying that the default would be, if we aren't aware of what a thing is, it's aliens from another planet. And so after the 60 Minutes interview came out with these claims about these UAP UFOs that pilots had seen and some of the documents that the government has released, and the indication was we don't know what this is because it doesn't match anything that is ours, and it's appearing to defy some of the constraints of the physical world as we understand it, and so on and so forth. My first explanation isn't these are aliens that came from somewhere else and nobody else saw them arrive. No other country saw them arrive to the planet. But then our military pilots see. I don't go to that. The simplest explanations to me include some aspect of this was distorted by the way that it was filmed, which is one area of study that is being looked at, and the idea that certain camera lenses can make things look as though they are moving in ways and at speeds in which they actually aren't. That's one aspect. The other aspect would be these are foreign elements of some kind from an adversary, and so we are not we're being given limited information, and this is surveillance of some kind from an adversary. The third possibility would be this is U.S. stuff that is so highly classified that what the government has decided to do is to allow the pilots to come out and say what they did, but not go any further and just claim this is not stuff the U.S. government is at least publicly taking credit for, when it actually is some classified government program. And then the fourth possibility, and this is like the cynical one in some sense, is that this is all a disinformation campaign to make other countries see this stuff and go, oh man, do they have this in the United States? Are these actually technologies that the US has? We are way behind. Let's try to reverse engineer this, for example. And the idea is a disinformation campaign to send other countries on a wild goose chase to stuff that's simply CGI. All of those possibilities strike me as far more likely. Again, just an Occam's razor, what requires the fewest assumptions. Those all strike me as far more likely than these are aliens from some other part of the universe that have visited us. When I sort of said this is my position a couple of weeks ago, I got 99% emails from people saying, David, thank you. This just makes sense. This seems like the most plausible way to understand what we've seen. And a few people saying, David, obviously these are aliens from another planet and everybody's in on the cover-up and you're part of being in on the cover-up. Again, that requires lots of assumptions and complexity. So I tend to lean towards the simpler explanations. Now, for people who will write to me and say, David, do you think that there are aliens? I think that statistically, it's likely there is intelligent life elsewhere in the universe other than Earth. I just don't think this is it arriving. Call me crazy. Let me know your thoughts. That's my best guess as to what this is as of right now. One of our sponsors, PureVPN, is giving you 47% off a 1-year plan, which comes out to less than $6 a month. PureVPN makes you anonymous online, and you can trust them. They're the only VPN with an always-on third-party audit, verifying that your internet activity is not being logged. PureVPN keeps you safe from hackers, prevents you from being spied on by your ISP, social media companies, government surveillance. It lets you stream shows and movies that aren't available in your country. PureVPN is super fast with over 6,500 servers, and you can use it on all of your devices with 10 devices logged in at the same time. You can try it for a week for just 99 cents, and you'll get 47% off a 1-year plan, which is less than $6 a month when you go to davidpakman.com/VPN. The link is under this video, and you'll even get an extra additional 10% off when you use the code Pakman.